Thank you, Peter. Our next guest thinks a bill from the Gang of Six could be the only comprehensive plan that has a shot of being passed. He still thinks it's flawed, though.
We welcome Representative Michael Burgess of Texas, who we should also note is a medical doctor and founder of the Congressional Health Care Caucus. Good to see you, Congressman. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you guys.
So is this just a useless exercise, this meeting of the Gang of Six, because there's so much about what they are working on right now that a lot of people have said is DOA, dead on arrival?
Well, there's so many moving parts to this bill, both still over on the House side and on the Senate side. And even if the Gang of Six or the Senate Finance bill goes to markup tomorrow as advertised without a public option, there's still the Senate Health bill that has already been reported out of committee that does have a robust public option. And as anyone's guess then, as these two bills are put together or forced together at the end of the day, what comes onto the Senate floor and what it ultimately looks like. So there's still a lot of ground to be covered, and quite frankly, we're still not done with the bill over on the House side. We were promised an extension of our markup when we went home July 31st, so who knows when that's going to happen.
Representative, though, I think when you talk to most Americans, they feel more comfortable when there is a Gang of Six split down the middle with both sides of the aisle represented. Isn't that a good thing?
You know, when the president spoke, the short answer to your question is yes. When the president spoke to us the other night, it really wasn't clear just what plan he was describing in his speech. Many parts of it may have been part of the plan from the Gang of Six that's yet to be revealed to the rest of the world. We just simply don't know. But the fact of the matter is, and what many of us heard repeatedly during the month of August, during our town halls back home, was that there are problems in the system. We do want to see some action taken to correct those problems, but we don't trust Congress to do something that's this big. And as a matter of fact, the bigger it gets, the more uncomfortable people become. So if we were to focus on some of those things like the pre-existing conditions, some of those things like the insurance company rescissions that many of us agree are problems and need to be fixed. If we'd look at the tax code, if we'd look at buying across state lines, the president referenced again the problem with only one insurance product available in Alabama. Well, if that's true, let's not just create one other option. Let's allow those 1,300 other options that are out there across the country to compete for that business in Alabama, and I think you'd see a starkly different marketplace.
Congressman, we don't have much time, but just the one thing that the president did to reach out to Republicans and conservatives was say, look, I'm open to tort reform. What's the one bit of advice that you would give him about meaningful tort reform?
Well, if I were to give the president some advice about tort reform, is let's get together and talk. He's perfectly willing to sit down and meet with leaders of countries that don't really like us. The least he could do is sit down and meet with Republican leaders who've been talking about just this subject year in and year out for quite some time now. It's an integral part. We're asking our doctors to be our partners in this endeavor, and at the same time, we're not willing to meet them halfway and give them some relief on the tort reform front. It really makes no sense at all.
Representative Burgess, thank you for joining us to talk about this. We appreciate it.